Other announcements? Okay, moving along. Anything from the brink that we don't already know?
Let's see. Ira put something in saying that they're 30 sponsors. So it's like, right, 29 in the initial.
Oh, for
Maybe you knew.
HRIS 77? Okay. That's good to know. Okay, well, let's move along to the Warheads to Windmills Coalition. Tim?
Sure. Well, I think everybody on here knows we have a coalition meeting this Thursday, and we've got a few more coalition members, including Pax Christi USA, some local ones in Massachusetts, and people that didn't make it the first time round, like Peter, might be coming the second time.
Not going to be able to make this on
Oh, you're not gonna
Thursday.
make this one either.
What,
Okay.
what time
Yeah.
is it Thursday?
It's 7 Eastern time.
But I'm hoping that Diane or somebody
Diane,
else
yeah,
will
she was there at the
represent
last
us.
one. Yeah,
Will you put the link in the chat, please, Tim?
you should have got it.
Yeah.
No, but
Ellie.
I get so much email, I miss
Yeah.
things. So if you put it in the chat, it would be helpful.
Wolf will be represented by McGregor Eddie will be coming on our behalf.
Well, Ellen represents Prop 1, so
Well, represents herself. Yeah.
so here is the
Is
That's-
this something we can join at a later date?
yeah, you can join
Then-
anytime. I wanted to ask you because aren't you Genesee Valley?
Yes, yes,
Are
yes.
you, because there's is it Arnold Matlin?
Arnie Matlin, yeah.
Arnie.
Dr. Arnold Matlin, yeah.
I've been-
He's one of the founders, and
Well, I've been corresponding with him, and he said he was going to try to join, but I haven't
he
heard.
did, yeah, he did put it out to us. I think he cannot do the meeting on Thursday. I thought it was at 2. It's at 7 Eastern time?
7 Eastern time, yeah. yeah.
Okay. And I'm not sure I can. I'm visiting with my son that day. He's had a host of health issues. I won't go into it, but I am interested in joining when I can. So if I just keep getting the emails, then eventually I'll get there.
Yeah, yeah. Good. And you all know about our lobby days in DC on the 12th and 13th of July. We're going to try to we're lobbying for the Norton bill, and we're going to try to bring up the numbers for that. We're not, this is not a bill we're trying to get passed by the Republican Congress, but it's I call it a litmus test because we're really trying to see how many members of Congress really support abolition of nuclear weapons and trying to, constantly increase that number. Back from the brink resolution is a little bit ambiguous about that. So we're going to a lot of those people and saying, how about going all the way and signing on to the Norton bill? And we're going to be handing out copies of our new Warheads to Windmills report, which I hope you've all seen. It's just a summary out at the moment, and we're working on a whole paperback book version, which will be coming out later in the summer. And we'll have all the references and a lot more detail.
It says on your website it was going to be published on the 27th of June.
Well, you can't believe everything you read on the website.
So just backing up in the chat, last time I mentioned to you all that Warheads to Windmills is to try to bring climate change activists together with anti-nuclear weapon, and so our latest Peace and Freedom magazine out of Wilf, and I've put you the link there in the chat where you can read it online, is the whole theme of our magazine is climate change, militarism, and you know, such things, and COP27. And so if you want to, you know, to see some quite knowledgeable people writing about this connections and climate change in general, then you're welcome to read it there. It's free to everybody. I get a hard copy because I'm a member of Wilf. Anyway, just Tim, and you might want to take a glance at it.
Sure.
When you have a moment. So I was going to order one of your new books. Can I order it anyway, even though it's not out yet?
Oh,
Or
the
I
book
wait?
version.
Yeah.
You can pre-order it, but we don't even know how much it's going to cost yet.
Okay. All
So
right.
I'll just make a note that you want one.
I will. Well, yes. I mean, and I will push it for you to Wilf members when it's really available.
Yeah. Well, we'll need people to review it, and help, you know, get it out. But it, you know, it will be a paperback in bookshops, and it will cost money. So, but I mean, it'll be online as well.
Susan has her hand up.
Two questions. Tittman, when you are doing that in DC with the, you know, going to whatever offices you can, would you like us to be doing that in district offices also at the same time? Would that be, you know, like a concerted effort, or would you rather wait?
Well, we're trying to get people to sign up to do it on Zoom, and so that we can go into an office in DC
Oh,
and have
okay.
people joining us from Boston or Newton
Oh.
online, because we're going to hand out copies of the Warheads to Windmills report in person.
Oh,
And we
fine.
want,
Okay.
you know, that's the goal, to actually see people in person. And as you probably all know, and I'm sure, you know, MAP has been meeting with all these people anyway
Yeah,
in the
right.
district offices, and MAP and National Peace Action has been doing that, you know, across the country this month, trying to lobby on a whole range of bills. So
Right.
this is specifically in DC offices with copies of the printed reports. And
Right.
I mean, if you can't join on Zoom or do it on that day, you could. I mean, you could go to a district office, but I mean, that's our goal. So we're targeting Ayanna Presley specifically because she signed on to the Norton bill last time and hasn't done so yet. So she's one of our main targets, and I'm hoping we'll get at least a few people from the area to, if not come down to Boston, come down to DC.
Okay.
Other people, like, are you Auchincloss, or who's your?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
he's
Right. And so, you know, just meeting with the new person who is the staff person who is dealing with those issues.
Yeah.
He's young, he's new to the position, and he was, you know, like, because you know, we in the area of nuclear weapons, he had nothing to say and very little to say about anything else.
Well, one
So
of the
I
things.
just, yeah.
And if you
So I
talk
just put in the
about Claus
chat.
himself, if you talk with a congressperson, he's got a lot to say. But then also, Cheryl, I would really like to read what you talked about. Could you send that in email form to us? Let us know.
Which
You said that Wilf has.
Peace and Freedom?
Yes.
Yes. Okay,
That-
you can't save the chat?
No,
No, okay.
works for me. I mean,
And
you know, I can, but I don't really get it. If you could just send it to me, because we have a whole campaign that is about the intersection between nuclear weapons and environment. So that would
So-
be lovely to read.
Right. So I
And
put in the chat your link, Timon, that you want people to fill out if they want to take part in the lobby days.
Yeah.
It's a Google Doc.
Yep.
and I'm trying.
Just to add to the conversation about Auchincloss, for instance, this is about linking climate and nuclear weapons. And
Right.
although there are many that are like Auchincloss, who's never supported anything nuclear so far, he has supported the Green New Deal. And so, this is our chance to try to make that link and get some of these people interested. And we have a whole list of targets that are more on the environment side than on the nuclear side, and we're trying to reach out to them.
Mhm.
Hey, just to note, Timon, what you put in the Zoom link, if I click on it, then, of course,
No,
this is for the meeting on Tuesday.
that's for the
Okay.
meeting on Thursday. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
My link is for the Google Doc to sign up for the lobby days.
Okay, but you'll send
We
it.
are having our people here try to join by Zoom because we're not in DC. We're not anywhere close to DC. So
Right. Although we have somebody coming all the way from Berkeley, so it's very exciting. We've
Who's
got
that?
people from
Somebody we
Phoebe
know?
Sorgan from Berkeley.
Okay.
She's so we're gonna, again, we're targeting Barbara Lee, especially because she has signed on before and she hasn't yet. And we've got somebody from her district coming, so that's a really big plus.
Right. Well,
The more we get people in person, the more chances we get to speak to the actual rep. Anyway,
Well, thank you. I think this is a marvelous action that you're doing, and I'm trying to get all Wilf involved. Believe me, we've got
Right.
newsletters out about it because we're all
well, it's
over the
less than
place.
2 weeks away, so it's
Yeah,
short
yeah.
notice now. But
So I can tell you that we do the main person, Shelley Pingrin, our
Shelley
main group,
Pingree, we've got lined up. Yep.
and
got
our
somebody?
main group is already involved with that.
Okay.
And so I read out all the places, and a couple of people will be trying to help.
Good. Good.
I gave a copy of Warheads to Windmills to the Golden Rule people, to Helen Chikard.
So when you talk about handing something to the reps, but you haven't got the book printed yet, what is it?
But
It's
we have
just
the
a summary. It's a summary. Okay. It's just a summary, Susan.
Right, but that's what I had.
Yeah. Well,
I
that's,
gave it to them when they were here.
You've
they're
got
more
this, right,
likely to. Yeah.
Carol? You got this one? The
No,
summary?
I don't. Not yet.
You
That's
don't?
the summary.
That's the summary. This is
That's the summary. I haven't asked for
all
that.
that anybody from Congress is ever going to look at. It's all full of colored pictures and, you know. So if you don't have one, I can send you that. That's
I mean,
That's
Yes, I
very
pref-
good.
yes, I prefer it like that than me having to print out the PDF. It's available as a PDF, right?
yeah, it's available as a PDF, but I can also send you a copy.
I'm putting my address in there so you can send it to me.
Have you not got one either?
No,
Now, when you say send it, you mean in the regular mail?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I still have to pay you for mine. Although Cole took some of mine, but
Well,
Okay.
Right.
So I was obviously a bit confused between that, which looks like a pretty good publication, and the actual book that isn't ready yet. Two
Right.
things. Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
what you have there as a PDF, is there any possibility of making it into an HTML instead? Because you can't post a PDF to Facebook, and I do a lot of informing people by way of Facebook.
Isn't it linked on
Or
your new
Twitter
email?
or Instagram. Well, there's a link, but it doesn't have any, it's better if it's if it's an HTML. If you could send me the Word, then I could make it into an HTML if you
well,
want.
What do you mean, Ellen?
make it HTML from a Word document.
Yeah, you can make
It's
an
not. I mean,
HTML
we
Word
don't have, because it's mostly graphics and pictures. We don't have a Word version. I mean, we have the Word version of the text, which is actually available to you already on the Warheads to Windmills Google Drive. Have you got access to that, Ellen? You should.
Yeah.
That's
The,
got the words, but not the graphics, which is the main thing that, you know. So
you
I-
didn't plant the graphics into the Word document?
no, I could try to do that.
So you worked in some other program
Yeah, it's
completely,
all been done in Canva
Canvas. Mhm.
with a designer, you know.
Oh.
Vicky
Yeah.
knows how to do that
It
stuff.
sounds quite fancy, Ellen.
Yeah.
Can't you?
I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do.
It'd be good to have it online so that it's as an HTML, because then it would be seen more easily by more people.
Well,
And-
everybody can download the PDF. So I don't quite
Right.
know what you mean.
Right,
I'll see
and
what I
you
can do.
know, I mean, I suppose you could, it could be done as, you know, just screenshots and JPEGs, but it won't look the same. It won't be as nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
Um,
I do want to get it out to people.
Yeah. So Holly wants one as well.
And I
606.
suppose what I could do is if I just have the cover image, then I could post the cover image and then the link to
Well, the
the
cover image is available
PDF.
on the website.
Okay,
That's easy that way.
So you can
All
easily
right.
download
all
that.
right, all right. I'll try to do it that way rather than you having to reinvent it.
Well, I'm going to see what I can do, but in the meantime, you can have that.
Okay, so I think, has Peter gone away? Or you
No, I'm here.
Okay,
I'm just, I'm
Put
having
on
to do
your-
something.
Put on your
uh,
American hat.
Yeah, that's my character, Bodacious Bob, in Dr. Atomic's Medicine Show.
Huh.
He's running for the United States Senate. He's pretty much of a character.
Okay, well, what's
are
next
we on,
then?
are we done, sir? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
if you've got a larger JPEG of the cover, because that's a small, it's a small picture. So if you could send a larger one, that would be nice. If you have it.
So you had an event all planned for last Saturday, which you then
yeah, so-
postponed. What was all that about?
So, yeah, the forum, the Warheads to Windmills online forum, which was a follow-up to the webinar that we had in May,
Mhm.
was postponed until September, and we're going to decide on Thursday, you know, what day, but probably the 24th of September. And that's because of a whole range of reasons, including speaker unavailability and so on. So we're going to have a really exciting event in September. You can look forward to that. And that's also why, well, it's related to the postponement of the book being launched on that day, because we're not ready for that yet either.
Okay, thank you for the explanation.
So what's next, Peter?
Okay, well, looking at the agenda, yeah, I just wanted to bring up to people that, let me turn my video back on. I wanted to bring up to people that Code Pink has had this idea, which I think is a pretty good one, of commenting on news articles that they see about the Ukraine war. That's what they're focusing on. And I see, I've been helping with that a little bit, you know, just they seem to want to focus very heavily on the Washington Post and the New York Times. Both of those are behind paywalls that I don't, you know, that I don't subscribe to. So I'm letting other people do those, but I go to places like the Yahoo News and other places that I see articles And if they have anything to do with the Ukraine war, I make a comment about it, and I usually bring nuclear weapons into it. I'm getting some feedback from people who are seeing them not a lot, but a little bit. And what I think is good about this is that it lets people know that this is an issue and that they should be thinking about it. I think what Code Pink is doing is saying, let's see what we can do through this mechanism to damp down the war fever, which I certainly support as well. But in the process, I think it can do double duty and bring up the nuclear issue as well. So I just wanted to bring that up to people and see if you had any thoughts about it or questions about it. And if so, I will see if I can answer them.
Well, I think I just want to make sure everybody understands what you're talking about, which is many news media companies have online publishing of their articles, and they come with comments sections that you can comment on their articles that are online.
Exactly.
And so it's not a letter to the editor. It's you find the article, you find the comments that sit underneath the article, and then you make your own comments, plus the hundreds of other people who are already making comments.
Right.
And Peter's saying he's trying to, and the peace in Ukraine idea is to talk about the need for peace, the diplomacy, not sending any more weapons, because you will find you're a lonely voice probably in all those comments. But if you're brave enough, and I don't know,
there are a lot of people who are saying some pretty jingoistic things, but the articles are worse. I mean, the mainstream media about the situation in Ukraine is absolutely awful. And so just putting some kind of antidote in there, I mean, it's not an antidote, but it's so difficult to get anything published in the New York Times, even a letter. You have to go through quite a process. And so I think it's really worthwhile doing this and just putting those ideas out there so that people see that there's a different point of view. Not everybody is buying into this war fever. Not everybody is buying into the idea that, oh yeah, we have to match the nuclear weapon for nuclear weapon, this kind of stuff. So anyway.
so you don't, your own personal email address does not appear, right? So they can't send nasty letters to you directly. All they can do is be nasty in the comments section. Are they moderated? Do they try to keep down the rudeness?
Some are, some aren't. The Yahoo ones that I've done the most are slightly moderated in that, if you say something like really outrageous, they won't get in there. But I was afraid that they were going to censor it, and they didn't do that.
Okay, so yes, I think if they have the Peace in Ukraine has a subcommittee called a media committee that people are committed to working on this, to keep an eye out for articles in various newspapers and then get into the comment section. And you have to get in pretty fast. I think I just saw one that had like several hundred comments on it. So,
oh, it can go to several thousand. I've commented on one there where there were 2,000.
So somebody, okay. You hope that somebody sees a few, I suppose.
Yeah. But I mean, it's the same thing with a letter to the editor. You don't have any idea who's going to be seeing that.
Yeah, but at least it's there. You don't have to go through their filtering process. You can make the comment.
True. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up and see if anybody had any comments one way or the other about it.
yeah, I think it's, if you've got time, I think it's a fine idea. I've created some sample sentences for my Wolf people to write in response to all the Dan Ellsberg obituaries that appeared everywhere, and asked them to write letters to the editor. Very few of them have done that. But having a few sample sentences, sample text is helpful. So Peter, do you have any text that you'd like to share with us to make it easier for us to do that?
Well, I have I've kept the I'm reporting back to Code Pink, the ones that I do, and so yeah, I have some.
I mean, is there some kind of generic text that
Well,
fits?
the thing I'm bringing up typically is that if they people are saying, boy, the Russia's coming apart, and it's and Putin's on his last legs, and maybe he's going to be thrown out, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm saying, you kind of better hope that doesn't happen, because when a military commander feels like he's losing a battle, he goes to whatever weapons he has available. In which case, in this case, it means nuclear weapons. And nobody reading this is going to be very happy about that if if he starts using them, because just about everybody who reads this is going to be dead.
Right, but
So,
if you read the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists today, they have a man called Francois, who I've met because we had him as a speaker at my APS meeting. He has done a good analysis and brought in other people who are knowledgeable about how difficult it is actually to get the weapons ready, put them on the missiles, know the codes, etc., etc. So it would take a mob terrorist group a long time to actually get to the point where they could send it off. So to me, I think that's a bit alarmist. I see people saying this. I think they're being a little alarmist about it. If you look at the technical
there are 9
issues.
terrorists who have that work already done.
Right. So we should worry about North Korea more than we should worry about Prigozhin, who we don't know where he is at the moment. He did an audio report yesterday, right? I mean, the whole thing, yes, indeed, was truly amazing that should happen, and that they were digging up the roads. Did you see that? They had bulldozers out, the Russians, on the roads they knew they would come along to get to Moscow. They were digging them up so they couldn't get by. They were blocking bridges.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, yeah, you should read the BBC. It's full of details about what was happening to stop them.
I didn't hear that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes, they
It
were
makes sense.
they were really worried. The Russian,
They got pretty close, actually,
245 kilometers.
but they went a lot of kilometers too.
Right, to get there, yes. How many, wasn't clear how many they actually were. I mean, they talk about 25,000, but I don't know that there was actually 25,000 moving, because Prigozhin himself stayed in that Kostov-on-Don, or whatever it's called. He was there. He was not actually moving with them. Anyway, so they were worried, and they said, that these companies that track all the planes in the air, they know where Putin's personal plane, which I suppose is like Air Force One, is stationed, and they saw it take off from Moscow on Friday night, and I can't remember where they thought it was going. They don't know if he was on it, but then he seemed to disappear out of Moscow for a while. So anyway, and then he's finally, we didn't hear from him for the longest time, Putin, and then we finally heard from him last night. He made a statement on their TV. Anyway, it to me a remarkable happening. Of course, Prigozhin said, I'm just, my beef is with the military. I don't have any beef with Putin. I just,
Right.
it's the way my boys are being treated, and you know, they were going to be put under the command by July the 1st. They were going to be put under the military command. Well, it's still, and that's what he objected to. But in fact, in the end, that's what they agreed to. They said, "Well, stop if you'll give them some benefits and not prosecute the ones and etc." Anyway, it's but the fact that somebody could get so far, yes, is
Well, I just wanted to bring this this tactic up
tactic. Yes, thank you.
and suggest that people, might want to do this. And that's what this agenda item was about. So
Right.
if nobody has any other comments or questions about it, let's move on. Does anybody have any new ban treaty information about what's going on locally? We do.
Let's hear it.
Okay, what we're doing here is we have a thing in Salem called the World Beat Festival, which happens every year. It's a multicultural festival, and we went down and tabled for a couple of hours each day that they were going on. We're a small group, so we weren't able to cover the whole thing, but we were able to get out there some, and it's good. So
Tell me again the name of the festival so I can write it down.
World Beat,
World Beat.
yeah,
And in Salem.
in Salem. And so, we went out and tabled and gave some flyers out and got signatures on a petition. The petition says, we seek to abolish nuclear weapons and support all possible steps in that direction. And then it says, I call upon my representatives in Congress and my president to take any and all possible steps leading to the abolition of nuclear weapons from Earth. These include, but are not limited to, signing and ratifying the TPNW, concluding other arms control agreements, the world's nuclear powers, renouncing the option of using nuclear weapons first, ending the sole unchecked authority of any president to launch a nuclear attack, canceling the plan to replace an entire U.S. arsenal with enhanced weapons, and reducing the annual appropriations of funds for nuclear armaments. So it's basically a back from the brink kind of thing. And so
How many did you get?
We've got quite a few signatures on this. I was just copying them because tonight I'm going to, the Democrats in town here are having our congressional representative come and speak. And I'm going to take this down there because I haven't been able to get an appointment with her. So I'm going to take these down to her, or copies of them anyway, and say, there's quite a few of your constituents who want you to do something about this. Like
Right.
get 2775, for example, would be an easy way to go.
So is Ellen there? Do you want
Yes.
to tell them we have two petitions that we've been using. We got 7,000 signatures on the hard copy, which is addressed to the President Biden or whoever the president is. It doesn't matter, to sign the treaty, because you need somebody to sign it first, and then to the Senate to ratify the TPNW. Right. And we also have an online one that has been there for a few years. So petitions, I like petitions. I think it gives you something to do, so to speak,
Well, I'm not crazy about petitions myself, but it does give you a way to build your mailing list. Because we have a little checkbox on each one that says, if you want more information, check here. And we get quite a few people doing that.
So
that's what we're doing. And there's a spin-off from our local group that is putting together a Hiroshima, a pretty expensive Hiroshima Nagasaki kind of thing, with tabling and crane folding and things like that. And they spun off because they wanted to do a bigger deal that was going to be very expensive. It was going to take all the money we had. And the group said, no, we don't want to use it all to do that. So they said, oh, well, we'll just do a smaller version of it on our own. So, but we're still working together. It's good. So
So I
Yeah.
can,
when you have, when you're being successful enough that you have a splinter group, you know,
that's good.
I
That's
think you
good.
can pat yourself on the back and say, oh, wow.
Right, so along the same lines, and I wrote to you all on the 25th of May, soon after the last meeting, with the information on the documentary on Oppenheimer. And we
Oh.
now know, and then the major film that's got quite a buzz going about it. We're trying to get our Wilf people to stand outside the cinema. And within 20 miles of me, there are like 25 cinemas that are going to be showing Oppenheimer. Okay.
Wow.
And although it says the 21st of July, you can buy tickets for the 20th of July onwards, and it's going to be there for weeks, right? So we're trying to get our Wilf people to go to any one showing, possibly on a Saturday night. There might be more people, and to
Mhm.
rush out ahead of everybody and stand on the street, with flyers that I'm preparing for them, to give them the lowdown on, how awful nuclear weapons are if they haven't thought that. So I read a review. This is based on a biography by Kai Bird on Oppenheimer, and he's seen the whole movie, and he wrote about it on some website that I came across. He said it was very emotional, and he came out feeling quite awful. So I was hoping he was feeling awful, because it really makes the point that nuclear weapons are not a good thing. I don't know if that's what made him feel awful. He wasn't clear in his review.
I think it might
So
have been the focus on the McCarthyist
McCarthy,
stuff,
it might be. They go
House
through all of that.
Connectivity Committee.
Yeah.
So I
So-
was hearing, so we're dealing with that in MAPPA, and big discussion, and we're doing a spreadsheet of all the theaters in Massachusetts that
To
will be
cover them.
showing that, so
Mhm.
that and having that available so anybody can go to a theater near them
Yeah,
and
yeah.
have literature that they can hand out. And then also we're trying to get some, like in the Boston area, maybe have a place where we go, where a group of us go, and then we have dinner afterwards at a restaurant, and a few different places where there are groupings of people, probably something
Could you tell me,
new to them.
right,
But then also we're talking, I was wondering about the documentary and the difference
Yes.
between the documentary, and then we were talking about the movie, and somebody was saying, well, that the movie will probably be that, or I don't know what they said, that comes out as making him the hero, because the hero for inventing, or coming out with the atomic bomb. And so he's really a hero. But then one part of it is his difficulty in McCarthy stuff.
yeah. So let me
What's the difference between that,
Yeah.
the movie and the documentary?
let me tell you about the documentary. That is going to show on MSNBC, if you've
Yeah.
got cable, MSNBC at 10 p.m. Eastern time on the 9th. Did I get this right? Ellen, the 9th of July.
Okay.
And then it's going to stream on Peacock after that for a few weeks, I hope. Again, you can buy a Peacock stream for $5. It'll get you a whole month of the thousands of shows on Peacock. Now, our Wilf member and Hibakisha Hideko Tamura is in the film. They flew her down to Los Angeles. She was interviewed, and she's, she actually gave them some photographs that they're going to be using. Apparently, when she was a little older, she went and sat underneath the famous dome. That's the one bit that's still standing. And there's a photo of her as a young woman sitting in the dome. And so she, and she appears in the trailer. There's a 1-minute trailer. Ellen, maybe you can pick that out of the agenda we had the other day.
Okay.
Is that a more positive Does she feel positive about the documentary?
She's not seen it. All she knows is she was interviewed and she was given the opportunity to say how awful it was, the experience, how, she was there in Hiroshima, how much pain and suffering she's had since, and how the world, should not condone the existence of such things. She's written books. She's a speaker. She's now 90 something, right, Ellen?
Yeah.
So there are lots of other people in the film who are experts in
the
various
documentary.
aspects.
This is a
Uh,
documentary you're talking
It's a
about.
documentary, yes.
Yeah.
So that's 1 hour. I'm presuming it's 1 hour. 10 o'clock. If you get MSNBC, I don't, but I'm going to work out how to stream it. I'm going to pay my $5 if I have to. It's a drop in the bucket. And we are again
You
advertising
said
this
10 o'clock in the morning or in the evening?
no, in the evening. Ellen, okay. I'm just
I'm looking for it here.
I don't want to misspeak the day of the sorry, I had it all in my mind. Anyway, again, we are trying to get our Wilfers to watch that.
10
and-
p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Pacific
the
time on
day
July 9th.
9th. Yes, it's a Sunday night, July 9th. So if you get cable and you get MSNBC, you can watch it. And we're assuming it's a more, reasoned look at nuclear weapons. You watch the trailer, you will get the sense of it from the trailer that I'm hoping Ellen can put in the chat momentarily.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds
There
like
it is. It's
a
right here.
much better. Oh, and
No, that's the draw. Okay,
Trailers above that. Yeah.
all right. That's the
Trailer is the first link.
That's the trailer of the documentary. The second one is the trailer of the drama.
No, that's the
Oh, it's 10 p.m. Eastern time.
No, 10 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Pacific.
So, yeah,
I mean, it's
I can't watch it that night, but I'd be interested in the Peacock.
the streaming, yeah, on Peacock.
if you can record it, if you have the ability to record it, you can MSNBC. You can just put it on your machine, and that's what I'm going to do.
Mhm. So,
because we are all prepared for the movie.
Yeah.
To
so what
go
materials
there
have you got?
and say this is not really all there is, and this is what you need to know.
Yeah. So have you actually written those materials yet?
No, not yet.
No. I promised my Wolf people I'm going to do that. Pointing out, that there's this treaty, the TPNW, that is a solution to getting rid of them, and so on and so forth. So yes, and it's a very big film. Hundreds of millions of dollars have been spent on it, and they've got all these famous actors. They've got somebody playing Einstein. They got somebody playing Feynman. So they bring in the whole story and afterwards. So. I mean, I will go see it. I'm asking Wilfers to see it before you stand outside to hand out the materials, so you can, speak knowledgeably about it. And hopefully it does make people feel awful about them. That's what we hope.
If anybody wants to know what the take is on the movie, you can read the book, which I
Read
have
the book,
not,
yeah.
because it's 500 pages long.
Right, it's very detailed. And obviously they've had to pick and choose what
Now,
to.
Joseph,
You're talking about the documentary, though. He's talking about
No, the drama is based on the book, on the biography.
So Joe, in our meeting last night, Joe Gerson was saying that the book was really good. So
Good in
he
what
waited
respect?
for it. He right. Oppenheimer. It's just called Oppenheimer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He thought it was very
hold that
good.
up again, Tim.
Yeah, it's a very thick book.
Yeah, and
It's called
he said,
American Prometheus.
It was published some years ago.
is that the
Your
title?
library probably has it.
Yeah,
The title is American Prometheus. Yeah.
Oh, so Joe was talking about a different book that just is called Oppenheimer. And he said that book is really good, but it is not you know, if you really want to know about Oppenheimer, but that the
Well,
movie
this
is
book is
not
with
gonna-
the footnotes. It's 700 pages.
Okay, well, anyway, it's our opportunity. I'm really trying to get wolf people out there. I
And
see it as an
the
opportunity.
movie is 3 hours long.
Okay, thank you. I hadn't found that
Oh.
out yet. Yep, yep. So take
That's
your
why, that's
popcorn.
why I'm gonna record it. I have to go to work the next day.
Right, but it's going to carry on. You know, they're not going to just show it once. It's going to be shown night after night, 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock. You go to Fandango to buy tickets and you'll see it show, as I say, 20 cinemas within 20 miles of me will be showing it. So nobody has any excuse to say they couldn't see it and stand outside. That's what I'm going to tell my people.
No, but
Yeah,
they should
and then it's gonna,
years ago, they showed the movie, the Russian movie, War and Peace, and they cut it in half. You know, they showed half of it, and they allowed people to go to dinner,
And then
and
come
then
back.
they came back and saw the rest of it. That was very civilized.
Mhm, mhm. Like a long opera where they give you a long intermission
Yeah.
in the middle. Right.
3 hours is a long time to sit.
well, any other things that people are doing in their local areas? Holly?
We have the Golden Rule coming to Rochester, which is an hour from me, New York, July 20 through 23. So it's actually the Rochester Chapter 23 Veterans for Peace that are the official coordinators of this visit, but they are Genesee Valley Citizens for Peace allies. We work together. So GVCP is also helping out with setting up the agenda for that.
Mhm. So it must be coming back down because it's up in Maine, Portland in Maine at the
Going
moment.
up the Erie Canal, right?
Yes,
We're going
yes.
back to New York for, you know, to go up and then through the Great
Boston.
Lakes and, you know, eventually get to Chicago.
Right. And the Boston, they had a resolution.
Oh, we
something-
had all kinds of,
It was marvelous.
that's why I'm sick, because I was so involved with all of the things that they were doing, but it was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. They're a great group of people. The crew are wonderful. And we had great varied things happening, all kinds of things happening. But Holly, you will have a great time with them.
And
I'd
they
be
give
interested
talks,
to
right?
hear what you did, because I think that Veterans for Peace are still trying to fill in some of the gaps in the schedule.
Well, we started first with, well, they came in, we thought maybe an evening. They were coming from Plymouth, Massachusetts. And so they moored in Winthrop, which is
Mhm.
across the bay. And some people went and they had dinner with them. They welcomed them, you know, big sign. We made a sign
Mhm.
with their logo and Sailing for Peace. And then they stayed in a hotel there. But then the next morning, they docked. We got a berth for them in the, you know, I don't know what it's called, in Boston, where boats dock, and the whole sort of waterway area, and group welcomed them there, big welcome. As it came out, there were just 3 people speaking, but I think, you know, some music and a big group welcoming them. And then from there, we had a marching band, you know, music, and they
Mhm.
walked up to what is a park called Christopher Columbus Park, which is a much more public area, where we got a permit to be for the day. And that's where we had speeches, we had music, lots of good music. We had a musician who did the song of the Phoenix and the Golden Rule. and I'll send that to you.
Mhm.
Helen knows
Okay.
it.
Did you
She-
get the
there's
press?
a few little words that are of difference, but she was really very happy to be able to sing that. And then that night we went to a restaurant close to, I'd arranged a house for them to stay in, people leaving for the week or so. So the crew could all stay in a real house, real beds. And then the next morning, on Monday morning, they were there to be available for people to come and look at the boat and talk. But then early evening at the Community Church of Boston, there was a reception for them. So this was in person with food. And this is a really homey, wonderful place. It's not a churchy church. It's a great, progressive, wonderful place. And then a part of it, after the eating part and the just general talking, we had a hybrid Zoom part, which was the meeting, so that people could come in and oh, sorry for that background sound. Wait. Sorry, my husband watches TV really loud, way too loud. But we had people from all over tuning in to that hybrid because there are people who just can't, get to wherever you're having your activities. So that was a real important part of spreading the message, which is what they want.
Did you
Hey,
get
Dan.
any press? Any press?
Um,
Yeah.
well, then on Tuesday, the
Photos.
next day, but I hadn't realized how important that was. For a while, we were just thinking about the activities, different places, but to have something that goes out to other people who can't get in person
Mhm.
it turned out to be really important. Then the next day, and we showed the movie. We showed the movie Making Waves.
Hmm.
A
And
history, right?
And then the crew, then they spoke. And we had somebody playing some music also, but the crew got to speak and answer questions both from people there and from people on Zoom. And then the following day, we arranged to have an interview on a radio station, WBZ. These, two people who do interviews, and it was at a public library where they just do interviews. And so that goes out to a large group of people.
We do have that on WXXI. There's a Evan Dawson show, and they're doing that. Yeah.
Great. And
That's-
that was good. And they were so good. Both Helen and Jerry did the interview, and they were wonderful.
They're very
Answer
articulate.
questions.
Mhm.
And Helen also did answer questions on nuclear power too, which is really good. Somebody also asked her about, was it Ukraine? I don't know, but weapons, nuclear weapons. But anyway, they were great. And then we went to the State House and we had a rally at the State House. And so we had people
Right.
there, music and stuff. And then we went to another restaurant and then the next one.
Well,
Although-
that sounds like a fabulous several days you helped to put
Yeah.
together. Then.
And,
I know
and of
Wilf.
course, rain, rain was in and out of it. So
Mhm.
To give you some ideas, Holly.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
it sounds
and
like
then-
you're all set with that interview, and in ways in which I didn't know it would be, again, I didn't know if it would be that important, but turned out really to be. So that was
Yeah,
great.
we lucked out because when Medea came, we tried to get her on that connection show, and they didn't want to talk to us. So it's hard to figure out, but we did succeed with that. Yeah, and then one more thing. Tomorrow, I am on a Zoom call meeting with Senator Gillibrand through Peace Action, and there's like 13 of us on the call from throughout New York State Peace Action chapters. So, my little piece will have to do with talking about the TPNW. So,
That's a state senator or a federal senator?
state senator, well, federal, yeah,
Yeah.
she's one of our two. Mhm.
Gilly, spell it for me.
Gillibrand.
Gillibrand.
Okay.
She's a Democrat.
Yeah. That's great.
It would be-
Okay, well,
it
it
would-
sounds like people are busy.
You know,
Ellen, do you have anything?
In
No,
Mass
I
Perception,
don't.
we have, I was just say we have, in my nuclear disarmament working group, we have a subgroup, which is TPNW, and they're trying to think about if they should just merge into the campaign, a new campaign, which is the nuclear, twin threats. And just, if that's what they would do, and although I realize the importance of that, I also, think that we might lose out some of the push for the TPNW. So a little concerned about,
What are the twin threats?
Climate and nukes. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay,
got it.
could be
Everything
nuclear
I guess.
power and nuclear weapons.
Yep, you got it.
So I wasn't sure which one it
No,
was.
no, it was in climate change and nuclear weapons.
Which
Okay.
is what Norton's bill is all about.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, exactly, right. And what warheads to windmills is,
Yes.
Right.
But I
So,
understand about keeping the TPNW, not letting it be overshadowed. Mhm.
mhm. Ellen, did you have something?
I don't have anything to report about actions. I'm buried in the mountains here with a very Republican representative, and my senators aren't any good either, so. But I keep on keeping on, and I'm very, very grateful for everything y'all are doing.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, our group, one other thing that we're fixing to do is the biggest community event that takes place in Salem every year is called the Art Fair. And they took over the main park down, which is near where I live. And they put up hundreds of booths of artists, and it really attracts a huge crowd. So we're going to be in the so-called free speech area. I hate that. But anyway, they have that. And so we're going to be there putting out the word and continuing to collect signatures. And also folding cranes. That's the other thing is we're going to get the kids learning how to fold cranes and
Mhm.
be giving them away and handing them out and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, trying to get a little bit of attention, steal attention away from the artists. And so
Have you heard of the Glastonbury Festival in England? It's an enormous
I've heard of Glastonbury. I don't know about the festival.
Glastonbury Festival. So, for example, the last player was Elton John on his last show of his farewell tour, and people
Wow.
of his caliber. Anyway, they actually had a contingent there from the campaign for nuclear disarmament with a tent about nuclear disarmament and
Yeah. Well, that's
banners
what
and
we're gonna do.
posters and speakers. So yes, infiltrating these festivals,
Yeah.
especially the
Yeah.
ones where you've got younger people, although Glastonbury has a whole bunch, is a good idea if you can wing it.
Well, I guess along those lines, one of the must-go-to things that happens for me every year is called the Oregon Country Fair, which is kind of like it started out to be a Renaissance fair, but the people who were running the Renaissance Fair said we couldn't use that name, so it became the Oregon Country Fair, and it's been going for more than 50 years now. Every second weekend in July. And the political satire group that I have been with now for 49 years, and which, you know, this character that I was talking about, that's coming up, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. And so we'll be down there. And one of the main things in the show is about nuclear weapons.
Mhm.
So we try and make fun. Our motto is a quote from the humorist Lord Buckley, who said, "It is the duty of the humor of any given time to cause the people to laugh at the danger that confronts them in such a way that they do not die before they get killed."
They do not die from laughing. Okay,
So,
well done.
so we'll be doing that. We make fun of a lot of it.
Will you be filming it?
It might get filmed. We
I'd
have
like to
some.
see it. I'd love to see it.
We have a website, and there's some old stuff on there. We haven't done a film for a while, but we have three CDs out,
Well,
which you can get on our website, which is dratomic.live, DOCTOR atomic
Dr. Atomic Live.
.live.
Live.
Live.
is that it?
Yep, that's the one.
And that shows up as a website?
Yeah.
There's
Dot-
no,
.org. Or
No,
is it? You
no,
don't need
you
org.
don't need that.
no HTM or, there it is.
No, .live is the suffix.
Okay, Standing with Standing Rock, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what's up there is mostly older stuff, because the guy who made the website is a way better website developer than I am. And I can't figure out what he did. I can't update it.
I see
So,
Nora has just joined us.
yeah.
Oh, I'm just about
Yes,
to.
hello.
Okay, we're just finishing, Nora.
Nora, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us who you
Yeah,
are.
I'll introduce myself quickly. I'm Nora. I'm an intern for Nuclear Ban US. I'm a junior at Pace University right now. Sorry that I joined so late.
Welcome.
nice to
Yeah.
meet you.
Asking.
So you'll see a couple of emails I sent you about an hour and a half ago about Anna Eshu and Ro Khanna.
Yeah, I saw them right before I joined this meeting.
Good, so you'll get back to me. Thank you.
Yeah, so Nora is coordinating our lobby day in Washington.
Okay, good.
And you live in Palo Alto, I hear.
I'm from Palo Alto, yeah, but now I live in New York.
Ah, okay. All right, got it.
So the way you're doing the lobby day is you're asking us to set up a meeting with our representative, and then you
She'll
will
set it up.
be there in person. Is that right?
Yeah, we're having all the constituents write to the representatives. We're doing it as well, but it just helps to have them write. It's easier to set up a meeting that way. And then, yeah, we'll be in there in person.
Okay.
I'm depending on Nora setting it up, actually.
Yeah, I've been emailing the schedulers as well.
Nora's in that same constituency, so she can do that. But
For Anna Eshu, okay.
we need somebody in Oregon to set up that meeting. That's the thing.
Yeah, I'll work on that.
And okay, all right.
I'll see if I can get Andrea to commit tonight when I see her to saying yes to that.
As I said, she gladly resubscribed to the ICANN pledge
Right,
Which-
I know.
thing. You know, we've only got a dozen of them, so she's already up there. So
Yeah,
she's
well,
Should be
You know,
on.
I worked for her to get elected, and one of the reasons I did was because I thought she would certainly do this kind of thing. So far, it's been kind of hard to follow through with her, but I'll keep working on it. And as I think I've told you, her deputy district chief of staff is our next door neighbor, about 3 houses down. So I've known him for a long time. He used to work for Wyden.
Is that Blumenauer or is that somebody else?
No, it's Andrea Salinas. Blumenauer is in Portland.
I see her. I'm looking at Timon's list of
Oh,
possibilities. Yeah.
we do have somebody for Blumenauer now, do we, Nora?
Yeah.
Do you know who it is?
Oh, who's gonna,
Um,
Uh,
would that be Kamal Khan?
no, it's
Elizabeth somebody. Who's that?
Anyway,
Oh, Elizabeth Parker?
no. Her last name might be Rose. I'm not.
Yeah,
Okay.
Elizabeth Rose Parker, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's a member of our group.
Oh, cool.
So you have members from different organizations in different states that are sending messages to the representatives about this lobby day?
You talking to me or Tim?
Whoever.
Nora.
Well, Elizabeth is in Portland and I'm in Salem, which is 50 miles apart. And she's been meeting with our group, and there are a couple other Portlanders who meet with our group, but they have a different representative.
But to answer
So
your question,
you-
I mean, the whole idea of the Warheads to Windmills Coalition is that we have different groups around the country who can help us, reach these different members of Congress because they want to hear
Right.
from their own constituents, and so
Mhm.
that's exactly what
Okay.
we're trying to do.
So, yes, they don't want to hear from some random person. But once you kind of made that connection, then Nora will help you.
I sent your invitation, Tim, to the local 350 folks, and they put it out to their mailing list. I saw that the other day. I don't know if you've received any response from that, but
Not yet. We have 350 Mass on board, and we've been corresponding with 350 nationally. We don't have any other. I haven't seen any other 350 groups yet.
mhm. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Well, I think we're pretty much toward the end of our agenda here. Susan, do you have something?
Thank you. Can put my hand down. Two things. As we were talking about Hiroshima, I was remembering that David Rothhauser, I don't know if you know him, a film is doing something, putting on a play, and he wants to put it on at the UN, and is looking for help and support in that effort. And I will send that to you, Cheryl, as an email and information. And then also I was wondering, in the past years, the Still Here Coalition,
Yeah.
they were doing stuff about Hiroshima, Nagasaki Day, sending out, information, suggestions. Where are they, and are they still here, so to speak?
Right. Well, John Pope left them and moved over to the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists. But I think there is somebody left there because occasionally I hear from somebody. I can't remember the name right now.
Is it Lizzie
I-
Adams?
Somebody,
Lizzie Adams, is she?
yeah, maybe. It's I don't know. My impression is that there's people out there who every year will do something, whether anybody tells them to or not. I know within Wilf, we have branches I don't hear from all year, and then they'll all pop up in August, and they'll do something because they've done it every year for 25 years. So what you want to do about that, Susan, that you're not hearing from them?
I was just wondering, because I would have thought that we would have heard from them by now. Yeah, I mean, we do our own thing and, we've been doing stuff for years, but that they were a resource for people
Yeah.
out there. And I just was curious,
I think their pages are all still there.
hadn't heard from them. So,
Right.
all right, no one else has, so.
Well, they do. The Rethink Media is still there. Rethink Media, which was at the root of still here. They're definitely around.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think we've got to the end of our agenda. We have, the next meeting will be this 25th of July. And hopefully, Susan, you can break through free for a couple hours to join us.
I don't think I will be able to.
You don't think so?
No,
Okay.
no. Because actually the 25th, that evening, while we have supper, I don't know, we have supper from 6 to 7, and then it's 7:30. We, actually Kevin Martin will be speaking.
Okay. Well, you say hello to Kevin and
Peter.
and Nora, you're certainly welcome to be at that meeting if you'd like to. And with that, I need to go because I'm about to jump on another Zoom call.
Likewise. All right, thank you.
I'm saving the chat. Everybody save the chat now.
Everybody save the chat, right?
And I will be trying to do some notes.
Thank you, Cheryl.
I could actually, if you want, I'll just send the chat out in the beginning.
Sure.